The annual G1 Climax is arguably the most prestigious tournament in all of pro wrestling. This is one of the times within a year when New Japan experiences a large influx of casual interest. As a wrestling fan, you always hear about the G1 Climax. The G1 Climax is coming up and this is going to be an important pro wrestling tournament. The G1 Climax is coming up and who's going to win? You hear about it every single year. Now, as a newcomer to New Japan Pro Wrestling like myself, it's often a bit daunting to go into a G1 Climax, being as it's such a huge tournament with matches after matches, and it can be a little bit confusing. So I've decided to do a little bit of research and give you everything that you need to know for this upcoming G1 Climax. So this year is the 33rd annual G1 Climax, and it'll be running from the 15th of July to the 13th of August. The G1 Climax makes use of the round robin format. So essentially the winners are grouped into different blocks, and the winners of those blocks then face each other in a knockout stage to crown the winner of the G1 Climax. Within the different blocks in the G1 Climax, in the opening stages of the G1 Climax, you earn points with each match that you wrestle. For example, if you were to win a match, you'd get a total of 2 points. If you were to draw a match, you get a total of 1 point. And if you were to lose or a no contest, that would be 0 points for you and the other person. Unless the other person won the match, then he would get 2 points. Now you may be wondering, what is the point of the G1 Climax? What makes it so special? What is it that you win at the end of the day? Now of course you win the beautiful G1 Climax trophy, which as you can see here, looks absolutely gorgeous. But at the end of the day, you win a title shot for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at the next Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view, which usually happens in the following year. Now if you've had a look at the various blocks for this year's G1 Climax, you would have noticed that the IWGP champion Sonata is in the A block. Now you must be wondering, okay, but what happens if Sonata were to win the G1 Climax? Who does he face? Well, Sonata would then have the option to pick his opponent for the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom. Now I think to really understand the importance of the G1 Climax, we got to go back a little, go back into history just a little bit. Now versions of the G1 have been around since the early days of New Japan Pro Wrestling and have been happening annually since 1974, but often under various names and under various different formats. But the modern day version of the G1 Climax, which we all tend to hear about, started in 1991. Now the point of the G1 Climax was to showcase New Japan Pro Wrestling's various heavyweight talents, and to have a tournament where the best heavyweights face off against the best heavyweights to crown the best heavyweight. So essentially, with that being said, this is where we should be seeing the best wrestling that New Japan has to offer. This is where we see the likes of Tanahashi, Okada, Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi. This is where we see them compete against each other, all to determine who the better wrestler is. Now the last 5 winners of the G1 Climax was Tanahashi in 2018, Kota Ibushi in 2019 and 2020, and Kazuchika Okada winning in 2021 and 2022, and his win in 2022 gave him his 4th G1 Climax. In 2016, Kenny Omega became the first foreigner to win the G1 Climax. So that was of course a huge achievement for Kenny Omega and a real turning of the tide in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this year's G1 Climax will be the largest G1 Climax we've had to date, with a total of 32 wrestlers taking place in 4 different blocks. This however wasn't without its controversy, as many fans felt that this was just too many wrestlers for the G1 Climax, and many feel that it's lost its identity of showcasing New Japan's best heavyweight talent, with many wrestlers from outside companies being involved as well. So with that being the very basics to the G1 Climax that I've researched and I've learned about, let's go through each of the blocks and see who's participating. So in block A, we have the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in Sonata competing his 8th consecutive G1 Climax, but this time he is of course the favorite, seeing as he is the champion in New Japan. Now of course he is in a pretty easy group, as most of the participants in this group are experiencing their first G1 Climax. We've got Chase Owens, who is the one other participant who is in their 3rd G1 Climax. Thereafter comes the debuts. We've got Hikuleo in his first ever G1 Climax. We've got Ren Narita in his first ever Climax. We got Shota Umino, who I absolutely love, and I think he's going to have a banger of a G1 Climax. We got Yota Tsuji, who obviously lost to Sonata recently, but he is in his first ever G1 Climax. We've got Gabe Kidd, who's in his first ever G1 Climax. And we've got Kaito Kiyomiya in his first ever G1 Climax. So in theory, this should be a relatively easy group for Sonata to go through. Now when looking at Kaito, he is from Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan, and he recently had an excellent match with Okada back early a couple months ago, and he had a great feud. We've all seen the clip where Okada went ape at Kaito after Kaito kicked him in the face. That clip went absolutely viral. And so I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. However, in saying that, this is of course a huge group for these debutants to perhaps get a win over the IWGP champion and cement a place for a future title shot. Next up, we got the B block, and this block is pretty stacked. We got Kazuchika Okada, who is in his 12th G1 Climax and is of course a favorite to win it for a 5th time. When is Okada never a favorite? Let's be honest here. Then we've got Yoshihashi with his 7th G1 Climax entry, followed by the 5th entry of Taichi. Then we've got Kenta, of course, competing in his 5th G1 Climax, followed by the Great Khan competing in his 3rd G1 Climax. Then we have the man himself, the IWGP US Champion Will Ospreay, competing in his 4th G1 Climax. And I just want to say, on the very first day, I think we're getting Ospreay versus Taichi. And if you didn't watch Ospreay versus Taichi earlier on in the year, I think it was at Genesis, or it was at one of the shows. Fantastic. So I'm keen to see that again. Next up, we got Tangaloa in his 2nd G1 Climax, and El Phantasmo, the former Bullet Club member El Phantasmo, in his 2nd G1 Climax. Now, of course, this is going to be very tough considering the names in this block. And we're going to see a United Empire clash between Will Ospreay and Great Khan potentially. And of course, we're going to see a repeat of the final between Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada. And we've got Block C, which is spearheaded by the current Bullet Club leader in David Finlay, who is entering his 2nd G1 Climax. Then we have Tomohiro Ishii, who is in his 11th G1 Climax. And when there's Ishii involved, you know you're going to get a good match. That is followed by Evil with his 8th G1 Climax. Then we got Tama Tonga with his 6th G1 Climax, followed by one of my personal favorites in Shingo Takagi with his 8th entry into the G1 Climax. And anything with Shingo Takagi, I'm here for. I'm really here for. If you don't know much about Shingo Takagi, make sure to go out of your way and watch some of his matches. Then we got Aaron Hanare in his 2nd G1 Climax, followed by Eddie Kingston, who is making his debut entry and is the new New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. And he recently defeated Kenta at Independence Day, which was a huge moment for Eddie Kingston. And I'm really excited to see what he can do in this G1. And then lastly, we got Mikey Nichols, who is also making his debut entry into the G1 Climax. Some of the highlight matches for this group will be David Finlay versus Tama Tonga, who Tama Tonga lost his championship to David Finlay, the leader of the Bullet Club. Of course, we've got Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii, who have had their clashes in the past. So either way, this is going to be a fantastic group. And then we've got the final block, the D block, where we have Hiromu Tanahashi with his 22nd G1 Climax entry. Yes, you heard me correct, 22nd. And to go a step further, it is not only his 22nd G1, but it is his 22nd consecutive G1, meaning he has not missed a single G1 since his debut, which is insane stats. Okay, let's move on to the other people. So we obviously have Tetsuya Naito, who's obviously also a huge name in New Japan, with his 14th entry into the G1 Climax, and I'm not sure between him and Tanahashi who's going to go through. Next up, we have Hiroku Goto with his 16th entry into the G1 Climax, another old head that is surely going to show off in the G1. Then we have my man Zack Sabre Jr., the technician, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, if not the best, is joining in on his 7th G1 Climax. Then we have Toru Yano with his 18th consecutive G1 Climax. Then we have the entry of Jeff Cobb with his 5th G1 Climax, and surely some banger matches from the man himself. And then we have the debut entries of Shane Haste and Alex Coughlin, who I'm sure will be looking to impress in this year's G1. Now, I feel this could be a very difficult block for the two debut entrants, as this is the most experienced block out of all the blocks. The likes of Naito, Tanahashi, Goto, it's going to be extremely tough for these two. So we'll see how it ends up for them. So ladies and gentlemen, that is your participants for the G1 Climax. I would suggest, if you're really interested in the G1 Climax, take a look at some of those names. See who the favorites are, see who you think is going to win, and have a bit of fun. Don't go all out. You don't have to watch. In my opinion, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to be watching every single day or every single show. That's just far too much wrestling, and you're going to fall out of it before you get to the end. Pace yourself. Watch the matches you want to watch. It's all free on New Japan, by the way. Everything, as far as I understand, is free on New Japan World. All you have to do is have an account. You don't have to pay for that account, nothing. It should be available for you to watch. So guys, with that being said, enjoy the G1 Climax. I hope this video helped from one newcomer to another. If it did help, let me know down below. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.